Hi, my name's Brad Goff. When I'm not tending to my stamp collection, I'm a corporate SE here at Nutanix. Today, I'd like to take a minute to talk to you about Cloud Connect. Now I know what you're thinking. Cloud Connect. It's not a dating website. Who knew? I thought the same thing. Cloud Connect is a new feature that we offer that allows us to take local cluster data and push that data to the cloud, using either AWS or Azure as the target. This is a cheaper alternative for our customers as we'll utilize the lower storage tiers from these cloud providers. For AWS, we'll utilize S3, and for Azure, we'll use Blob Store. From a technical perspective, how we achieve this is by essentially spinning up a single node backup target in the cloud. Once this is done, we'll simply replicate protection domains to it as needed. Let me take a minute and show you how this looks in Prism. I'm going to pick one of these demo clusters that we have here. So once we get inside of this demo cluster, I'm going to treat this beginning piece as if I'm talking directly to a customer, so you can kind of see how I go through and represent a demo. So normally what I do is I'll talk about the front page here, our splash screen. I'll jump into hardware, I'll go over storage, and then I'll go over VMs. After we've gone over VMs, I talk about data protection. I say, okay, so what we've done so far is we've taken a look at our hardware, we created some storage, we've created some VMs. Now, the next logical step is to replicate or protect those VMs. We have built-in data protection. So we click on data protection, I'll switch over to table view, and I'll show them what we've already got created, just a little bit about how these look now and showing remote sites versus normal sites. And then I talk about our replication and how that we are VM-based, VM-centric with protection domains. So we can back up to another Nutanix cluster or the cloud. So clicking here, we can click on cloud. Since this is Cloud Connect, that's what we're going over. We can either choose AWS or Azure. For this one, I'll choose AWS. We'll click here. Right here, we'll go to add a new key. Normally, this will say credentials. So that's simple. That's all you have to do is click add a new key, enter your credentials, and you're backing up to the cloud. For here, we'll go into some of the advanced stuff. Whenever you get here, we can actually click next since we have a guest account or test account created. And this will go into some of the advanced settings, like whenever you want to pick your region, right? So you want to say, okay, are we picking a region close to us because we want it to be, low latency? Are we picking something further away just in case in the event of a disaster, right? Again, Cloud Connect is not for disaster recovery. It is only for backups, and it is made more so for smaller backup sets. However, if your DR site is on the East Coast and you're on the West Coast, you would want your Cloud Connect piece to probably be on the East Coast because you're going to use that and pull back in maybe if you're not doing native replication. But again, that's your regions that you can set up. We, of course, would name it, choose the type of connectivity you want to establish, and down here, choose your vStore. From here, we can use advanced settings. That's similar to just creating another Nutanix cluster using a remote site, but similar settings with the bandwidth throttling. That's the biggest piece here. Outside of that, whenever you're going through and you create a protection domain, we'll choose asynchronous DR. We'll give it a name. We'll say Cloud Connect Test because that's there. We'll click Create. We would then choose the VMs that we want to back up or replicate over to Cloud Connect. So here we'll choose the VMs. I'll just pick two random ones, so we'll say these. We click on Schedule. We'll click New Schedule. We'll say I want to replicate this every 6 hours. We want to keep, we'll keep 2 local, and then once if we had created a Cloud Connect site, it would show here underneath remote sites. We would choose that and we would say how many we want to keep remote. So we could keep, let's say 5 remote. And that's Cloud Connect. From an SE perspective, there are a few things that you'll definitely need to know about Cloud Connect. The data that is transferred is WAN optimized via compression. Another thing to note about the data is that after the data has been seeded, we will only take the snapshot delta. Cloud Connect is just for backups and not DR, as once the data is in the cloud, we can only pull it back to a Nutanix cluster. Another thing to note is you can also not file level restore from the cloud. You will need to pull the snapshot back to the cluster to perform a file level restore. Another thing to note is that we are not able to create active VMs in the cloud. Again, Cloud Connect is one of our newer offerings, but it is an extremely powerful offering, and it will only get better. That's all I have for now on Cloud Connect, but I'm sure new features will be coming soon. Thanks for watching.